so we are going to go through the exercises for traversing the commit tree. I have already cloned and unzipped the Git materials and set it to this directory for commits. So we have a total of 7 exercises, and each has its own little repository. So let us start with the first one, which is going to, so this directory has a directory where the repository is, and also instructions on what to do in the exercise, a README file. And that README file actually has the same content as one can find on the course webpage. So I am going to enter the local repository. And the first thing I like to do when I am checking in your repository is first of all see, okay, which files are there. So I'm going to do ls-l just to list everything. There is one file in this particular case. And then I'm going to also do a git status to see, okay, actually I'm going to do a git graph first. So I have an alias for git graph, which is actually the same as doing git log, one line, all, and then graph. So if you do not have this alias defined, then you can just specify this command here. So it's another way, well, it's a good way of seeing which commits and branches have been defined for this particular repository. So the very first question of this exercise was, okay, investigate the history and how many commits does the main branch contain, or the master branch. So I see that there are 3 different branches for this repository. The head is pointing to the tip of the master branch. And if I only want to see the master branch, then I'm actually going to remove this option all from git log, and I will just do git log as it is, maybe with the option 1 line, so that I get 1 commit per line. So then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different commits on the master branch, and the head is pointing to the tip of it. And then we have already seen that this repository has different branches, experiment master, new direction. I can also check all branches with the command git branch. This is going to list all of them. So not show the commits, but just list all the branch references that I have in my repository. We'll learn more about this in a bit. This asterisk here indicates that the head is currently pointing to the tip of the master branch. So I am I am on the master branch. So the 4th question in this exercise was to filter the output so that I can only see commits that contain the word abandon. And I can use git log to check that, and then I'm going to use grep together with a regular expression. In that case, it's, sorry, where is the equal sign here? In this case, it's just going to be a word, and that word is abandon, and click and then press enter. So of course it's not easy to know when commit messages have a different word or function in them, but yeah. But let's assume that you heard from your colleague that, okay, I have I have some commit, and then I use this particular keyword in the commit message. So you may go and check that out. And that keyword may be, well, either word or it can be a function, most typically. So one way of identifying commits with that particular keyword or some search pattern is by using git log together with the grep option. Okay, so we identified which is the commit that has abandoned in the commit message. And then the last question was to see if the reference log or ref log contains anything interesting, anything in addition. And I can do that by just typing git ref log. And I have a typo. So it should be git ref log, and actually, yes, Git was helpful in saying that I misspelled and suggested what the correct one should be. So if I do git ref log, by default, it's going to have head as reference, so I will see all commits that have moved the head. In other words, all commands that have changed the reference to head, and there are different commits that different commands that have changed the head, and that is commit and checkout. So you can actually see the command that has been executed that resulted in a new head reference. Okay, and then what we should identify is where the head was 6 steps back. So now, I mean, head is pointing to this commit 68. We also saw that when we did a git log. But if I want to know, okay, where was I? 6 steps back, then of course, I mean, I can count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's going to be, well, whichever it is, but I can also use the git ref parse command that git introduced, and together with a nice reference for the head, and that is head, and then this whatever it is, sorry, and then 6 here. So that will show me the head the 6 steps back. And I can click that enter, and I'm going to get the long hash, or I can actually shorten this hash if I want just a shorter reference to this. So this is where I have been at 6 steps back. And I can actually also see this just from the git ref log. Okay, so that was the first exercise. Now in the next exercise, bear with me, we are going to see how we can recover the head. So, let's see. Then I'm going to go to a different directory. Each exercise has its own directory, and that is to recover head, do an ls. So I also have a readme file with instructions for the exercise and then the actual repository. Going to list files. Okay, I have a recipe txt. And then what I should see here is, okay, I should check whether the head is detached. So, okay, let me, I can do that in many different ways. One way is by doing git status. So what git status will tell me is typically the branch I'm on, if I'm on a branch. In this case, I'm actually not on a branch. So then Git tells me that the head is detached. So head is not pointing to any branch reference. It's in a detached mode, and also prints out the commit hash of the head. And also git status gives some provides information on the status of the working tree, in other words, the working directory, and the index. In this case, there are no changes in the working directory. Nothing is staged either, so everything is clean. Okay, so we know that the head is detached. Now, what we should do in the following is to return the reference to head back to the tip of the branch. So how can we actually do that? So let's start by actually seeing all the commits that we have in this particular repository. So I'll use git log again with different options. I have no idea at this point if this is a repository that only has one branch or several, so I'm going to add the option all so that I may see all of them. It is only one branch, and we also saw with git status that, okay, this is head is pointing to some older commit, which is not the tip of master. So what we want is now to get back to the master branch. And I may do that with git checkout and then the name of the master branch. So then here it is important that you actually use the reference, the name of the branch. So let's do git log again. So what I see that, okay, I successfully managed to move the head from this commit to the tip of the master branch. So there are so git log is one way of seeing where head is pointing. I can do git status again and see that indeed now I am on the master branch, so I'm no longer in a detached head situation. I can also check I can also check the head reference that I have in the git hidden git repository, so that I may do with, for example, a cat command which lists what I have in a file. So hidden git repository and then the reference head. So then I see that, okay, git knows that, okay, head is now pointing to this reference, which is the tip of the master branch. So there are many different ways of checking whether you are in a detached head situation or if you are on a branch, so on the tip of the master branch, and they are all correct. Okay, stashing uncommitted changes. So this is the third exercise for this lesson. I already know now I have a repository here. So in this case, we are working with a recipe file. And what I should do is to identify the first commit. So let's then do git log again with one line all graph. This is again only this repository only has one branch, so I can skip these options if I want to. As they are useful if you have several branches. But again, as I didn't know, okay, what is this repository all about? I'm checking this for the first time, then I do want to list all branches so that I can better grasp what has been done on this repository. Okay, but in this case, head is pointing to the tip of the master branch. is this commit here. What I need to know is, okay, which one was the very first commit? So the initial commit was this D99 one with the commit message. This is going to be a cake recipe. So then what I should do in the following is to check out to the commit. And whenever you check out to a commit, it's always a good idea to do a git status so that you know what is the state of your working directory. So git status. And then it actually tells me, oh, but you have modified changes in your working tree. So this recipe txt is modified. So if I actually attempted to do a git checkout in this point, it's going to fail. Git checkout will not perform if you have modified changes in your working tree. So before I check out to an older commit, be it on the same branch or a different branch, I actually have to either commit these changes or these three or well clean up these changes or stash them away. So what I'm going to do is to actually stash these modifications. So the command to do that is git stash and then push. So git stash push tells me that, okay, I have saved the working directory. So these changes that were not staged and committed in recipe txt, and also the index. Okay, the index was clean in that case, but it saved it into a stash. I can actually see, okay, which was that. I can see the stash entries that are defined. It's only one, so this is the stash entry that I have defined with this stash index 0. So 0 is always the latest one, and that gets updated as more stashes are being created. Now I can check out this first commit. So I do git checkout, and then I'm going to copy paste the hash of the commit D99. So what I now do is to enter a detached head state. So remember from the lecture that when I do git checkout, the head moves, but not the reference to the branch. So I enter a detached head state. Now, what I can do is, okay, I can investigate the files, I can print, I can check the content of this file. So let's see. I still had only one file at that point in time. I can check the content of the file with cat, for example. It's just going to print everything. Just had one line, and that's my fancy cake. I'm going to show you one command which is actually quite fun to see files and to see content of files. So it's git show, and the usual way to do that is to have a reference or a commit, and then the file that you want to see. It can also be used without the file, so then it just streams info on a commit, git show, so the commit. But now I particularly wanted to see this recipe txt. And this is useful. I mean, if I had used this command from the beginning, git show the commit hash, and then the two dots here, and then the name of the file I'm interested in. So I could have used this command also without actually checking out to this commit. Yeah, that is possible. But I did want to, in this particular case, I did want to check out to this commit so that I can do some modifications. I can, so that I can incorporate some modifications based on this very first commit. Okay, if I want. But let's see, for this exercise, so what we should have done. So, okay, stash the changes that was needed again because I had modifications in the working directory which were conflicting with the content of recipe.txt for the commit I wanted to check out with. And then I can see that, okay, the initial title of the recipe, so that is what we should have checked, is that it is My Fancy Cake. Actually, I don't remember what was for master, but I can do that. So I can do git show master and see what was the name in the latest commit. So actually that changed, so it's called something else right now. But initially it was My Fancy Cake. Okay, now I should restore the head. And the way I do that is by doing git checkout and then the name of the branch. And then it's important here that you actually use the name of the branch and not just the commit, so that the reference, so that head also points to the reference of the branch. And I can now pop the changes that I have stashed. So again, remember, I can see what I have stashed away. I have one stash there, so I can do git, now stash, pop, and the reference for this stash. If I only have one, or if I want to use the latest one, then I don't need to give a index, but it is good practice that you do specify one, especially if you have several stashes away. So then what I see is that, okay, I am, well, on the branch master, so stashing doesn't change the branch, that's all good. But then I have recovered these modifications in the recipe.txt that I had before. Okay, so that was it for this exercise. So then I'm going to go to the fourth one. So this is actually taking a bit longer, but I hope you're okay with that. And the purpose of this exercise is to learn how to discard the latest commit. So then let's go again to the repository. Okay, so then I have again a recipe file, and let's do git status first and see what the status of the files is. It's a clean working tree, so no modifications in this repository compared to the latest commit. So I'm going to do git log again with one line and all branches and some delimiters that graph introduces to see, okay, which branches there are. There is only one. The master branch head points to that. So I should now discard the latest commit. And that commit is this A4 one with the commit message, add other ideas and hints. Now, how can I actually discard it? This is usually done if you realized you have done a mistake and you want to go simply disregard this particular commit in your local repository. Then I do git reset and then head tilde. So then it's going to reset to the parent of the head commit. I could, instead of specifying head tilde, I could have specified this commit hash instead, but it's nicer, I think, if you can use these references instead, but there are alternative solutions. So then what I see is that, okay, I have reset this, and then I have unstaged changes after reset. And this is because actually I have not use hard option. So then it kept modifications that well, it kept the modifications that I had committed as index. So I can still so let's see, if I do git log again, then I can see that, okay, that commit A4 is no longer reachable from the head reference. So then what I should do if I want to see this discarded commit, sorry, is to use the git ref log command. So then I see that, okay, before the reset, I had this commit A4, which has been discarded. I can reset back to that particular commit by using the hash of that commit. And I can refer to that commit either with this commit hash or this reference. So both work. So now if I do git log again, I see that I have recovered the state of my repository as it was initially. Okay. So amending previous commits. So amending again is if you want to change a commit that you have done previously, so that will change the state of the working tree and also the commit hash. So that was exercise 5. So let's clear these things a bit. So I have recipe. Let's see what git status gives me. I am on the master branch, clean working tree. And then what should I do? So I should edit the recipe as it's missing something. So then let's edit this. I'm going to edit with VI, but use your preferred editor. So open the file recipe.txt with your preferred editor. And then I should add 2x to the ingredient lists. So 2x. And don't use VI unless you're used to it, as it's not trivial for beginners. But now what I have done. So let's see what I have done. What have I done? Git status. So my working tree is no longer clean. I do have a modified file recipe.txt, and is not yet staged. So the modifications are only in my working directory. So I should stage these changes. So I do that with git add recipe.txt, and then so let's do git log here to see. So I have, what I want to do is actually to add these modifications that I've just introduced. So adding these 2x to the ingredients, I want to add them to this previous commit. I don't want to have a new commit on top of this one. So simply, I want to disregard this commit. And again, that also incorporates the updated recipe.txt. And the way to do that is git commit with the option amend. So this will disregard this commit and then do a new commit with the updated modifications. And then do I want to change the commit message? No, that can remain the same. Okay, so then what happened actually to my commit tree? So you see this commit has been removed. I have a new one for E, which incorporates these changes in the recipe. So let's see. Yes, I do have these additional ingredients that I have added. Okay. Now, how I can revert to the latest commit. So remember from the lecture that it's not good to use git commands that change the history of your repository. If you have pushed your changes somewhere on a remote repository, but if you still need to do sometimes fix mistakes, and git revert is one very good command for doing that. So then here, what I should do is to revert the very latest commit. I'm going to do git log again here. Okay, I have one branch, the master branch, and to revert the latest commit, I can simply use git revert. And then the hash of the commit with the changes that were introduced, and I want to revert. So then in this case, A4. Then I'm being prompted with the commit message because this git revert is actually going to create a new commit. So then I always need to have a commit message, but then just going to keep this default. And in my case, I have VI set up as an editor for Git. So then I'm going to have this file open in VI. But you can use, you can set it up with and use your preferred editor. Now, what I should do is to confirm that the commit tree indeed contains the revert commit. So then I do git log again. So in contrast to what git commit amend did when it removed a commit altogether, git revert does save does keep the commit tree unchanged, with the exception that it does add an additional commit which reverted the changes. But it's again perfectly safe to use with shared repository as the history is preserved. And then the very last thing, a small workflow. So 7. So what we should do here is to do different commits. And then, so let's see. Okay, so I have some modifications of recipe.txt that have been staged, shown in green here. But I also have some modifications which have not been staged yet. So they're only in the working tree. So I have 2 sets of those. And then what I should do is, first of all, confirm that I have uncommitted changes. So I have done that with git status. And I could have, instead of using git status, I could have used the git diff commands. So git diff head, for example. So this is going to show me what are my uncommitted changes. I could have done git diff cached or staged. And I have a typo. Yes. And then I can see which of these changes have already been staged. But now what I want to do is to stash away the unstaged changes. So keep the index as it is, but stash away only the modifications that I have unstaged in my working directory. So then I can do that using git stash, but with the important option keep index. So actually it's git stash or git stash push. But again, this option keep index is going to keep the index as it is, the changes of the staged modifications, but only clean up the modifications which are not yet staged, and stash them away. So okay, I can do git status again. So then I can see that, okay, I actually have these stage modifications I had previously, but I don't have these unstaged modifications. So then what I can do is, let's see, what we should do, number 4. So I stored the unstaged changes, yes. And now I should investigate the content of this repository file. So let's see, recipe.txt. So I have all in metric system, but here I should see that, okay, in the 7th step, I had some unconverted measurement, which was the 7th step. So I should have done, let's see. Yes, I should now then commit this with only the staged modifications. So I don't need to stage anything because that is already done. So let's call this. I'm unsure if I should. No, I don't need to modify recipe. So I'm going to commit this with some commit message. Let's call it transform to metric measurements. And then I want now to do a second commit that also had the modifications in recipe.txt that I had before. So let's bring back the stash that I created with git stash and then pop and the index for that stashing entry. So now I have these modifications in recipe.txt. So let's see how that actually looks. So I had, this 1 deciliter of chopped cherries. So I'm going to stage these modifications to the recipe and then do a commit with these changes as well. And okay, let's see. It's not obvious, but I know that, okay, I had some changes for, let's see, for the, here, for the oven size and the temperature. Okay. So that was it for the exercises.